Hey guys! Welcome to our brand new podcast series called Ascent to Freedom, where our hope-filled stories are fuel for your inspiration.
Improving the quality of life for whosoever is desiring to reign in life.
Me, Caleb.
I'm Zanuel.
We, as your hosts, present to you
Ascent to Freedom. Hey guys, welcome back to our Ascent to Freedom podcast. My name is Zanuel.
I'm Caleb.
As you guys know, we're on the series of freedom. In this whole series, we talk about how people got delivered from the addictions and now they're walking into the freedom free from the addictions. So today we're talking about freedom from overthinking. So let's straight dive into the podcast.
Come on.
So Caleb, how was your week, man? How was this?
Good. It was good, man.
Yeah, my week was good too. I'm excited for this podcast. Since we're talking about overthinking the other day, we were talking about this podcast, and also when we were making content, we were sitting together and we were just having word with each other. And you were telling me a part of the story where you really struggled with, overthinking.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, love to know that part of your story where you really, struggled with overthinking and how you overcame that. And before we really get into the podcast, I want to tell the viewers that what we mean by overthinking. So by overthinking, what we mean is when you repeatedly, dwelling on the situation or on thought, to the point where it just disrupts your whole life. That is overthinking. I remember that there was a time when I was like making all these scenarios in my head, all these fake scenarios in my head, when I was so, caught up in everything. Most of the times I used to think of the things which are negative, or mostly the things which are unlikely to happen.
Yeah.
So, Caleb, over to you. Like, what do you think? What is overthinking according to you? And share some part of your story, like how you were sharing the other day. So, over to you, Caleb.
Yeah. So good. So good what you just said right now. What is overthinking? Repetitive, See, personally for me, but when I say about overthinking, so I want you guys to know this, that when we are saying addiction to overthinking, right? Freedom from addiction of overthinking.
Yeah.
So I want you all to know before I begin with my story that I was literally addicted to overthinking, right? So going back to the time where it all began. So overthinking played a very big role in my life.
You said you were really addicted to overthinking, right?
Yes, I was.
Why don't you just go deeper into that? Like, what was things?
Yeah. So as I said, overthinking was a very big thing to me.
Yeah.
And I actually let it grow inside me.
Okay.
And I saw it destroying a lot of things in front of me. I saw it destroying my relations, my family, my job, my work, my everything, my friends, even the minute little decisions I take in my life, I saw them being destroyed because of my overthinking. So if I begin with overthinking, okay, so as you said, you want me to go into the roots, right? So let's go to the place where it started from.
Yeah, before you go into the roots, I got reminded of the time, when I was like back in the day when I didn't met Jesus, it was more like a panic attack to me, I would say.
Right.
So whenever, I have to make a decision, like how you said, like even if you have to make a minute decision, it would like, cost you so much of time to make that.
I know.
And so I remember that whenever something, pops up, even if it's, just thinking of going out or not, even if it's just, shall I do this or should I do that? I was just like, I used to get so conscious, oh, shall I do this or shall I not do this? And I was like, constantly asking my sisters to the point where my sisters got, really frustrated that why are you asking again and again? You already asked this 10 times. And, it just, I really gave a hard time to my sister. I mean,
I know.
But you can continue with your story.
See, the first thing is we need to know what is overthinking. As Anvil said, what is overthinking? It's so true. Personally, for me, I'm not against thinking, right? Thinking is very good.
Yeah.
But again, when you think way too much to the point where your thoughts start to convert into negative things, right? That is overthinking. So if I'm thinking about something And it does not necessarily have to be a bad thing that I'm thinking about.
Yes.
It can be a good thing also I'm thinking about. For example, if I have to go out to eat somewhere, I've got the money, I've got the transport, I've got the place to eat. But the thing is that I have options to go to. Right. Now I'm thinking where to go to. Right. And if I begin to think way too hard, and if I begin to put pressure on it, I would frustrate myself just by thinking, where do I have to go to eat? And in the end, I would end up going nowhere. This has happened to me. Like, I've been like, I want to eat this, I want to go there, I want to go there. Okay, no. If I'll go there, I think I won't find, the taste I found last time. Okay, I should go here. Okay, if I go here, is it going to be budget friendly? So I think way too much to the point where it becomes negative. Right?
And what I see here is that your overthinking is causing you confusion.
Yeah.
Definitely does.
Yeah, it does. So going back to the point where it started for me, so there were different aspects which gave birth to overthinking in my life. So the first is my past experiences, right? And whatever happened to me, whatever happened with me, around me, things. So, for example, I've been always used to of people not sticking with me till the end, And as I told in my previous episode, again, you guys can go and watch my previous episodes where I tell about myself and where I tell that how I struggled through some struggles in my life and how I overcame. So there were times when a lot of people came in my life and they left way too quickly. After promising, after showing me love, after caring about me, there was one point where they left like this. And this kept on happening in a cycle. It was a repetitive cycle, Some things happen and, okay, one time it happened, second time it happened, okay, third time, fourth time, fifth time. It keeps on happening. And what happens is like, I'm way too much scared now. And in my mind, there's only negative things.
Because of past experiences.
Yeah.
Like when you shared your past experiences, it reminded me that one of the major issue is past experiences where you were disappointed or were hurt. And you analyze and reanalyze things and situations in order to not get hurt again. That's one of the things, and what I see in you right now, like what you were doing, So you can continue.
Yeah. So it was like when I used to, because I'm a very emotional person. I get attached to person, I care for them, I look after them, and I love them.
Is it like you have attachment issues?
Kind of, I can say. But now what happened, my mind was molded in a way that whomsoever will come in my life in future, right? For example, I cannot describe you, man. I cannot tell you. There were countless times in my life where people came to me and like, they were wanting to be friends with me. They were wanting to come in my life. But there were countless times when I thought this thing that, okay, wait, this happened to me in my past experience. What if it happens to me again? That guy left me. And what if this is he's the same?
See, again, it's like you're analyzing and reanalyzing the same thing.
I'm not letting them, be friends with me. I'm not even giving them chance. All I'm doing is making hypothetical situation in my mind based on my experiences and overthinking on that hypothetical situations which have not even happened yet. So this is how I was, consumed with overthinking.
So why do you think? What are some triggering points? What do you think? Like why people overthink?
See, in my case, which I told right now, my past experiences, it's like people overthink. I'm talking about the situation where people think because of their past experience. So in that case, when they hold on to their past, right? And when they let their past define their future. So what I did was I let my past experiences define the future, which has not happened yet. But in my mind, it has already happened. In my mind, the person who is coming to be friends with me, in my mind, he has already betrayed me. In my mind, he has already left me.
Okay, so you're just making fake scenarios.
It's because of overthinking, and I push them away. I push them away.
So ever happened to you, like, ever came a point where you're just thinking to the point where you realize that you are subconsciously, you're just overthinking and you're not aware of that. And it just turns out to be negative, because you and I know, we both know that overthinking results in negative only.
Yeah.
It never results in positivity. Yeah. So I want to share this one thing. Like, let's say there's a person, A, and he has to give interview on such date, all right? Let's say X date, all right? So in the meantime, the person is, preparing for the interview, all right? So what he's doing, he's preparing for the interview, but at the same time, he's thinking, what am I going to say? What am I going to answer? What kind of questions they're going to be asking me? So gradually what happens, he's just thinking about that. Slowly, he comes to the point where he's thinking, oh, what kind of questions they ask me? How am I going to respond to that question? And am I going to be looking good at that day? Certain questions. And suddenly he starts thinking about that. Oh, what if the interviewer rejects me? What if they say that I'm not right fit for the job?
Yeah.
What if they
suddenly
say
he out of nowhere he takes the negative road?
Yeah, exactly. Like what I'm trying to say, like he's like thinking that way, and he's just just making these fake scenarios in his head where he's just telling himself a negative story.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening? See, the Bible says that so is a man as he thinketh. So if you just keep telling yourself a negative story, you will end up like that.
Yeah.
So there are chances, like 90% chances are there that you will end up failing that interview. Why? Because you're just constantly telling yourself a negative story.
Yeah.
And Bible is so true.
Yeah. See, one beautiful thing which is said right now. So you said that man planned, right?
Yeah.
He plans. Good. Yeah. Planning is good, right? Nobody denies that. But when he begins to overplan and act less, what happens? Subconsciously, he begins to go and take a negative route, which is just said right now. He will begin to think, okay, what if my way of sitting does not, is not appropriate? Or what if my dress is not according to my job profile? Or what if my answer, I have prepared so much? Or what if he asks something out of context? Or, so he begins to think negatively.
Yeah.
And now him thinking negatively about that situation is making him nervous, is making him anxious, is making him less confident, underconfident.
Yeah.
Now,
it's like he is himself demotivated.
Yeah. So when he is now anxious, when he is now nervous, now when he is underconfident, his interview will not go as he planned.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So overthinking always leads you to a negative route without knowing, without you realizing it.
Yeah.
As you asked me that question that, did it happen to me that subconsciously I begin to think, overthink. Man, I tell you this one thing, it's very dangerous. I was so addicted to overthinking that there was a point in my life where I used to cry.
You used to cry?
I used to cry that I don't want to think these things. I used to fight myself. In frustration, I used to hit myself in the wall. And I said that I don't want to think these things. Why are these things coming in my mind?
It was like you were having no control over your mind or over your thoughts. It was like everything was just rushing in, and you were just like you being led by your emotions and your thoughts.
Just because, and that all happened just because I let initially overthinking take birth inside of me. I let it brew inside of me. That is where slowly, it took me to a point where I used to cry. I used to think that my head is spinning. I don't want to think this. All I'm thinking is negative. For once, I want to think something positive. For once, I want to be friends with someone and not think about the negative consequences that are going to happen. So that is how much overthinking just came.
I think that overthinking is more like a trend than it's like a sickness. Why do I say that? I say that because you see today, social media is flooded with, suicidal thoughts, maybe, sad quotes, and people enjoy that. Music industry, people enjoy listening to, overthinking. And it's, people post up stories that I'm sleeping with my headphones on, when they're overthinking and all that, sad kind of stuff. And they're playing that old tapes in their heads, what are your thoughts? Do you really think that, like how I think that overthinking is more like a trend than it's like a sickness? Because I know for sure that it is in your hands to, captive your thinking. It is in your hands to to dominate your thinking. Because see, don't let the mind dominate you. You dominate your mind. See, it reminds me of the verse where it says in Bible that captivate every thought of yours and bring it obedient to Christ. It reminds me that when Bible says that specifically they captivate all your thoughts, it means that you have the authority that you can capture and you can captivate every single thought of yours. So if you're not able to captivate, that's your, I would say, lack of faith or maybe lack of, identity or something like that. That's what I think. That's what my perspective is. But I would love to know your perspective on that.
Okay, so see, it's very simple. It's very true that it has become a trend now. And the thing is that I would add just one thing is that, as I told that because of the past experiences, overthinking came, right? One more thing is there, because of what you hear from people and because of what you see, right? And now, as you just said, sad quotes and sad songs and, all these things which makes you overthink about anything.
Yeah.
For example, like me, I used to watch sad quotes, as I told in my previous episode in Freedom from Drug, right? So I used to watch sad quotes. And I used to think that these are my reality, right? In sad quotes, it used to say that you came alone in this world, you'll go alone.
I mean, when I listen to those now, it's so cringy.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. It was like I used to listen to those things, and I used to make them my reality.
Yeah.
And I used to overthink on those things.
Yeah.
And that is how it became a trend to me too.
Yeah.
That, okay, I have to overthink. It's been a part of my life. And, hearing from people, okay, if somebody told their bad experience, so I think that experience will be my experience, so stuff like this, overthinking.
Spiritually, how would you say, like, people who are fighting through this, people who are struggling with overthinking, I mean, they don't know, like, what to do, what next. Like, some people overthink about their life, about what are they going to do in their future. So when I ask you this one thing, like, what are some practical steps, or just like in basic, what are some steps that people can take in order to, overcome this overthinking? Because what happens, like how it happened in your story, like you used to overthink, your teacher told you so, and you used to overthink, and it just made you, everything just resulted in negativity, nothing resulted in positivity. And tell the audience about, like, what the Bible says about the person who is going through this.
Yeah. So there's one thing that I would like to say is that when you overthink, you become anxious, you become nervous.
Yeah.
You become underconfident. You become scared.
That's right.
You become doubtful. Many more things.
That's right.
And there's one thing what Bible says, I want to read real quick. It's Philippians 4:6. It says, don't be pulled in different directions or be worried about a thing. Be saturated in prayer throughout each day, offering your faith-filled requests before God with overflowing gratitude. Tell Him every detail of your life. Okay, so I want to tell this to the viewers right now. If you're struggling through overthinking, and if you're confused, if you're doubtful, if overthinking is bringing you down, it's pulling you down. So there's one thing I would want you to do. We are introducing you to Jesus. Jesus is your help. As it is written in the Word, that pray. When you talk to God, you tell Him your worries. You tell Him what are you worried about. You tell Him what are you doubtful about. You tell Him what are you anxious about. And what you do is you give Him everything you have. You do not hold to anything, right? See, you holding on to your things will make you hurt and make you think a lot of unnecessary things. Now, what you do is let go of things into God's hand, right? And bring, as it is written in the Word, that bring everything before Him. And when you bring everything before Him, surely He will answer you. We've experienced in our lives when we give our worries, when we give our burdens into Jesus' hands. And it's very simple. You don't have to do anything. You just have to say, hey, Lord Jesus, this is what I'm worried about. This is what I'm anxious about. This is what's bothering me. This is where my mind is running. I cannot control it. I give it into your hands. And when you give Him into your hands, you ask for clarity. You ask for clarity. Because, see, the fact is, if you go on finding clarity on your own, you won't.
You will not find it.
You won't. Clarity is always from Jesus. Right. He will show you. He will give it to you. And why won't a father answer his children's prayer, man?
That's right.
Right? So you go to your father and cast every thought, every burden into His.
Personally, I want to tell this. Personally, I used to feel anxious about my future. What am I going to do? And you know, because I used to feel anxious, and you were the one who, we were sitting one day and you were, telling me, you were helping me out. You were encouraging me that one day. That was a night. That was a beautiful night. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
But I used to overthink about my future a lot. Like, what am I going to do? What kind of leader am I going to be for my family? Or what values am I bringing to the table? I used to overthink a lot.
Yeah.
What I did, for clarity, I went to Jesus, obviously. But what I did, I grabbed a piece of paper, I grabbed a pen, and I started writing whatever that I was thinking. I started writing, and everything that was negative, I just, throw it away. I just threw it away. All right? And everything that was positive, I just kept that.
Wow.
So, I mean, if it's resulting, grab a sheet of paper. If it's resulting, write everything down. I did this from the very beginning. Whatever I'm thinking, whatever I'm feeling, I just write it down. And if it results in positivity, keep it. But if it results in negativity, throw it away.
Yeah.
That's how you can, kind of find a sense of, clarity.
Yeah.
But that's not the ultimate, source or how you can, get over this overthinking. The only way you can overcome this is by Jesus. That's the only way.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Caleb, for sharing your story,
No worries.
sharing practical steps, and how we can overcome this all overthinking.
Yeah.
And we are glad. And thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We are so excited for our upcoming podcast because we believe that it's going to be really amazing. And real quick, I just want to tell you, if you haven't watched our previous podcast, go check it. It's life changing. It's going to change your lives one way or the other. It's going to impact you. And if you're not the one who's struggling with the issues, maybe you can be just a help for someone. You can help someone.
For sure.
And that's it for today, guys. We are signing out. We'll see you in the next podcast. Till then, take care. Share this video with your loved ones. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below. Make sure you, reach out to us. There's contact details in the description box below. We would love to talk to you. We would love to, pray for you, and we would love to know you. And, it will be a great time. So till then, take care. Bye-bye. We'll see you in the next podcast.
Bye-bye.